All right, guys, today we are talking about the same three shapes as yesterday, which are pyramids, cones, and spheres, but we're doing volume instead of surface area. So pyramids and cones have a special relationship with prisms and cylinders. So it's kind of nice that we've already done prisms and cylinders last week. So pyramids have a special relationship to prisms of the same dimensions. So three pyramids would fit into a prism of the same size. Very similarly, three cones would fit into one cylinder of the same size. So if you think about it, if I draw a rough sketch here, if I have a cylinder, you can almost see the three cones in there. So like this would be cone one, there'd be a cone down here and a cone down here. So there's three total that fit into one as long as it has the same dimensions, meaning the same radius and the same height. Or for a pyramid, it has to have the same length, width, and height as the prism. But three would fit in perfectly. All right, so let's take a look at some examples here. So if this is a square pyramid, a square prism has a surface area, or not a surface area, a volume of length times width times height. And since it's a pyramid, we just take that and we divide it by 3. So in this case, my length and my width are both 5 since this was a square pyramid. So 5 times 5, it looks like my height is 7.6. And then we divide that by 3. So that would give us 63.3 cubic inches. Remember, volume is measured in cubic units. So we take a look at this one over here. We didn't use this 8 at all, by the way. So there could be extra information on your figures. But we would have a triangular prism was area of the base times height. So 1/2 base times height gives you the triangle. And then we want the height of the prism. So we'll call this height 1 and height 2. And then you would take that and divide it by 3 since it's a pyramid and not a prism. So for our triangle base here, we have 1/2. The base is 10 and the height is 8.7. And then the height of the pyramid is 13.3. I think I lost my 0.3 there. And then we divide that quantity by 3. Which will give us 192.9 cubic meters. For a cylinder, for a cone, it's basically the cylinder formula. The cylinder formula was pi r squared times height, because you have area of a circle times height, and then we divide that by 3, since 3 would fit in a cylinder. So you have pi. In this case, our radius is 2. Remember, this is a diameter. Our radius is 2. And then the height is 6. And then we divide that by 3 total. So my exact form that my calculator gives me out at first is 8 pi. And then our approximate form would give us 25.1 cubic meters. All right, so on this one, my radius would be 3.5. So volume of a cylinder is pi r squared times height. Since this is a cone, we take that divided by 3. So I'm putting in 3.5 for radius, 9 for height. So that gives us approximately 115.5 cubic yards. All right, so that's cylinders. We've done pyramids and cylinders. The last shape we're going to talk about today is spheres. So the special relationship between cones and spheres is that two cones fit into one sphere of the same radius. So if we think back to what we just did, a cone is pi r squared height over 3. So you would have two of those. So I can put a 2 up here, 2/3 pi r squared times height for two of them. But also height here is the height of a sphere is the same as 2 radii, or the diameter. So I can replace this h with 2r. So if I do that, I can simplify this because I can combine my 2's and I can combine my r's, my radii, to get a formula of 4 on the top. 2 times 2 is 4. R pi r cubed. R squared times r is r to the 3rd. So this is where our formula for volume of a sphere comes from. 4/3 pi r cubed. All right, in this case, my radius is 2. Which my exact form, my calculator gave me, was 32 pi over 3, which would make my approximate form 33.5 cubic millimeters. In this case, my radius is 8. So again, you got to be careful on circles. Radius is only halfway across. So my exact form it gave me is 2048 pi over 3. And my approximate form is 2144.7 cubic feet. All right, so I showed you where the formulas came from, but really as long as you have the formulas, you should be good to go. We're not going to make you memorize these by any means. So here is volume of a sphere. Working backwards, volume of a cone was your pi r squared height over 3. And then of a pyramid, it was length times width times height over 3 if it's square, or it was 1/2 base times height of the triangle, and then of the prism over 3. All right, so you do have a Delta Math assignment to work on today.